What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Ignite Takeover. That's Gianna Hearn, and I'm Mike Davis. Now, coming up, we're taking you to the Winter Showcase, introducing you to 17-year-old Dink Pate and radio play-by-play announcer Ben Wilson joins us in studio. But first, since the showcase, this Ignite team has been in a slump, sitting at 0-6, most recently losing to the Austin Spurs 114-80. Gianna, let's break down these struggles. So what's going on with this team that was just beginning to gel before the Winter Showcase?
You know, youth is really showing itself for Team Ignite, and this is the first year we've had this many prospects on a team, and because of all of the injuries, they've had to be on the court at the same time, so we're really seeing youth at the forefront at the
Okay, yes, and youth is certainly front and center for this team. And the youngest player on the team is 17-year-old Dink Pate, who recently saw his first game action. Gianna, what do we need to know about this young prospect?
You know, he's going to be with Ignite for 2 years. So we're in season 1 right now. He was injured and he has been back. And he's seen some flashes here on the court. But you know what? He's really young and he's just learning behind guys like Norris Cole, trying to figure out how he's going to be the leader of this team next year, because he's similar to London Johnson, that 2-year contract where London was behind Scoot, learning from him. Yeah. Well, guess what? Dink's doing that now at 17 years old. I don't even know if he has his license yet.
I don't know about that, but we certainly know he has some spunk. And on top of all that, this team actually declares Dink Pate the funniest member of the squad, and I think you'll see that shine in this sit-down interview. Take a look.
Gives it up to Zealous, up ahead, Pate, and he hits to the rim.
A lot of players have already told me you are the funniest guy on this team. You are Mr. Personality. Have you always been like this your whole life?
It's always been me. Being funny is just stems from the household, but like the comedians, my favorite comedian, Bernie Mac, like everybody's funny.
I'm
old school type.
You're 17 years old. You know who Bernie Mac is. I like
Bernie Mac.
Who else do you like?
I'm Bernie Mac, Martin Lawrence, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. You know, them type of guy. Eddie Griffin, anybody, Chris Tucker. I'm like them all.
So you like a lot of the old school. What about music? Are you old school?
Tupac. Machiavelli the Dawn right here.
See, I like that.
I'm a Tupac head. I'm a Tupac fan at heart. Like, at heart. So I like Tupac, Ice Cube, NWA, DMX, Easy. Any type of music that's old school, I'm with it.
Okay, now I like it. Now, what about guys on the court? The guys you try to emulate, your heroes that are basketball players. Are we going to stick with the same parallel, some older guys, or is it the new age?
Penny Hardaway.
Why him?
For one, I'm a 6'7" point guard, so
right.
Me having I don't want to say he was the first one to start it, because obviously he wasn't, but you know, he took it and ran with it. You know, Magic Johnson, 6'8" point guard, Penny Hardaway, all types of people. So Tracy McGrady. So Penny Hardaway, I actually got to talk to him over the phone, and it was just like, you were the person I used to watch. Like, I mean, everybody, I love LeBron, I love watching Kevin Durant, I love watching them type of people play, but when you see Penny Hardaway and some of the stuff that he do, some of the old school stuff can still work in this new time, in this new generation. So I even, like, when I called him and talked to him, to his advice that I get from him, you know, I still take it in, I let it soak in, and I don't let it go through one ear and another.
And what did he tell you? What did he impart upon you?
He was just like, when he called me before he offered me the Memphis offer scholarship, he was like, he see him inside of me. And, you know, I think that was a very, very critical moment for me, because I'm like, I used to watch you play, and I just be like, man, I really just got off the phone with him. So, you know, it was actually an impactful moment for me.
Pate showing the moves and the finish.
So tell us, I mean, you know, you're 17 years old, you're a 5-star prospect, you're getting offers not only from Memphis, but Alabama, Arkansas, all these places. How do you come to the decision to choose Ignite?
Well, my whole plan was to be a pro. You know, if I want to do this for the next 15 to 20 years, it has to start now. So getting the early experience on right now by playing against pros and living the pro life, you know, it's certain stuff that you can do and you can't do. You got to be cautious on what you say and what you can't say. So getting the experience right now before even doing the actual thing, I think this was the best option for me.
And what is that big advantage? I mean, the difference between you doing this way or if you went to Memphis, how is that going to show in your game? For an average fan like me, not somebody who plays, but somebody who's a big fan, how would I recognize those distinct differences and where you're going to be in a year from now with Ignite or a year from now with Memphis?
Well, actually, as much as I love Penny Hardaway, I would have went to Alabama. I would have went to Alabama, but only because I think the biggest thing for me is having a relationship with some of your coaches. Like, I had a great relationship with one of the assistant coaches there and the head coach, Coach Nate Oates, but I think playing in the pro space, I think that would have been what's best for me, because you in the gym 24/7, and that's what you're going to be doing anyway if you want to be an NBA pro. And I'm not really the party type person. Like, I might be old school, but I ain't never really just been a party type person. So I think the way I'm on my path right now, if I stay on that, I think I'll do good. I think I'll do great. I got a great circle in my family, so everybody that's keeping me right on track. So, yeah.
Tell us, I mean, at 17, I'm 31. I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's in his 50s or 60s right now.
And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how the conversation's supposed to go.
Cole will give it to Pate. Pate is 17 years old. A long two, and got it.
That's how it's supposed to be. A great kid, and Gianna. Beyond this year, next season, there's a good chance that Dink is going to be the featured young prospect on this team. Does it look like it's going to turn out that way?
You know, I told you, he's just like London Johnson. You stay for 1 year behind the star player, and then you got to blossom the next year. So he's learning a lot. I think he's going to do it next year.
What's your favorite thing about his game?
I mean, really, because he's so young, just his youthful energy and his explosiveness. It's going to be interesting. His size at a point guard, we'll see what happens.
I like how personality translates to the floor as well. All right, so guys, coming up next, we're joined by the radio voice of the Ignite.
Play-by-play announcer Ben Wilson joins us in the studio. Stick around. He's the man behind the mic with the best seat in the house. Now he's sitting down with us.
Yes, Ignite Radio play-by-play announcer Ben Wilson joins us now. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely, guys. Best seat in the house. I mean, it's pretty surreal when you get to all of a sudden see all these prospects who are just in the start of their journey, and to watch them progress. It's been a blast so far.
And listen, there's the timber in this voice.
Hey,
I mean, that's what happens when you get a radio guy in here. All right, so let's start with this. So you, like you said, you have a unique vantage point when you're watching the game. There's undeniable young talent on this roster, but a lot of outside noise is becoming concerning. What's your take on all this?
Sure, I think it's easy to look at record first and foremost and go, okay, if a team is struggling to win games, well, that's an obvious sign that this program isn't working. But I think what people don't really understand is just think about the roster construction here. When you have so many prospects, and not only that, but the supporting pieces are more in that kind of mentorship role. You've got majority of the vets here 32 plus. So not to suggest that it's not really a team where the roster buildup is one that's going to be competing for a title. You talk to anybody within the organization, they go, we want to win games, we hate losing. It's just the reality of the G League system. And the thing I've noticed, you guys watch this night in, night out, so many G League players come into town, and you go, how are they not on an NBA roster? They're so good, and they target a lot of the Ignite prospects. I think it's what makes the development that much more impressive, because all these guys, Ron Holland, Dink Pate, anybody who takes the floor, they've got a huge target on their backs, and it gets exposed a lot of times when they're still so young.
So true. Every team coming in, they want to make sure they demolish these young kids because they're not trying to get wiped out by them. There have been a lot of exciting moments, though. What has been the most memorable moment for you?
I go back to earlier this year, and the moment when Modest Bazelis, it kind of felt like that coming to life moment for him as a prospect, hits the game winner, step back at the horn. Wasn't a guy who looked 19 and was a first-year pro. I mean, he wanted to embrace that moment. He called for the ball late. Those are the moments for me where you can tell. I mean, it's such a long process. These guys also, keep in mind, they're coming from AAU programs or high school programs where they had so much winning. They're all five-star prospects. You lose 16 of your first 20 games. Like, that's really tough mentally. So to see a moment like that for Matas where he comes out, makes a great play in crunch time with something I'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, it's humbling, but he's got that innate swagger. I love that about him. Now, you're a young guy with some swagger too. I mean, Tennis Channel, you've done stuff with Beason, you've called a little bit of every type of sport. Who have you looked up to, though, since a youngster when it comes to play-by-play? Who's your heroes?
Sure. So for me, especially with basketball, Mike Breen, who voice of the NBA, has always been a guy, and I've always felt like, this goes back to the old school basketball fans here in Vegas when Summer League first started coming to Vegas. And me growing up always would try to come out here even before I lived here with family out in the valley. And just to go to Summer League, not only, a lot of people think of, oh, you get up and close with the players. Well, for me as a kid, it was like, hey, all the broadcasters are just hanging out, chilling. So I was really lucky, got to meet Mike several years ago, and he's been a great mentor of mine. Just, you look up to people who are professional, they bring it game in, game out, and they realize, that the game is not about them. The game is about telling the story of what's happening in the players, which is especially true when you're talking Ignite. You're trying to showcase the players who are going to be the stars of tomorrow, and that's certainly a privilege for me, and it's an honor to be able to do that. 2
quick questions for you. One, do you have a unique catchphrase, a favorite go-to?
Yeah, that's what you need.
I get that question a lot, and I feel like so many of the good ones have been taken. I don't want to force anything. Like I don't want to go out there and be going bang every time there's a 3. That's Mike's thing. So I really try to just let the moment come to me, to be totally honest, and that's where it's the most authentic, right? When it's something that happens and it's just. You prepare, you do so many games, you have things that just come to you, and that for me is what's really special. So not to cop out, Gianna, but I'm kind of the mind of like, hey, don't force it, just let it come to you.
Let me hear you say boom shakalaka, because I think you would. Let me just hear it.
Boom shakalaka.
See, he's confident. You gotta be confident if you're gonna be play-by-play. I know I filled him for play-by-play once, and I said out in open water. I don't know if it landed well, but. We'll see.
You got the rumble going on. You can't be afraid to get kind of gritty on the on those with the power moves into the paint. Yeah.
All right. So you bring the energy and excitement. We've heard it in your voice now. But why should Las Vegas be excited about Team Ignite?
Sure. I think when you look at where the team starts every single year and the inevitable development that comes. It's for any hardcore basketball fan who wants to see guys, especially on a stage like this. You're going to the Dollar Loan Center, intimate venue. You can see players that next year, couple of years in the case of youngest prospect Dink Pate, are going to be stars in the league. And to me, that's really special. It's one of those unique things that you just don't get to see anywhere else. Like minor league baseball is the only comp, but those guys aren't guaranteed to make the major league. So you don't know if you're actually going to see future legit top-level pro talent. You get that with the Ignite. And that, to me, is what is the most exciting part about it, because these guys, when you watch them in person, I mean, they bring it, and they are legitimately talented, even if the record might not indicate it every night.
Well, we love having you here, Ben. My left earlobe, I can't even hear out of this ear right now. That's how professional you are.
I'm so used to having the headset on, right? You just gotta blast right through it. Sorry, Mike.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna make it through the show, though. Thanks so much, Ben. You're a great man.
Pleasure.
Thanks for being here. Now, guys, coming up after a short break, shots have been fired. We're talking about the legitimacy of the ESPN article making waves about the Ignite program. That's next. Welcome back to Ignite Takeover. It's time for Thunder Rumblings. Now, this team has received some criticism from ESPN reporters Jonathan Givony and Jeremy Wu. Now, in a recent article, they have a take on this growing pains of this team. Some of the things that they state in the article, quote, not a lot of team basketball being played, copious turnovers, little leadership on the floor from either prospects or veterans. Then they go on to state, while these are not unique struggles for a young team, the overall vibes are somewhat alarming. Gianna, you're covering this team better than anyone. Is there truly cause for alarm?
I think you want to know what type of concern. Are we concerned about the record? Well, if that's the concern, no, there's no concerns on Team Ignite, because that is not the focus of this team. We've talked about it here. They're all about development. Their goal is to get these prospects drafted on draft night. And not only that, Coach Jason R. has gone as far to tell me as he doesn't want his prospects to land back in the G League. So get them ready for the NBA and have them not come back to the G League. That's his focus, not the record. So cause for concern, the cause for concern would come if they're not progressing, if they're not developing, which has not been the case as far as coaches have told me.
And what about the vibe?
The vibe, as far as, I would say, I talked to Ron Holland, star of the team. He's frustrated, okay? One of the knocks is that they're more focused on themselves not winning as a team. Ron is so frustrated with not getting wins, okay? He said, and that's the mood of the whole team, but they're not shaken at this point. They think they can win every single game. They think, every game they've lost, like, we could have won that. So then the question becomes, did you let off steam? Is it conditioning? Is it just you haven't beefed up enough, which you can't change overnight? We saw this in the last game against the Austin Spurs. There's 48 points in the paint by Austin, okay? you can't change how strong you are overnight, but you can change positions where you are defensively. So that becomes a defensive IQ thing. So coach is going to address those things.
And the physicality and learning that is something you can't develop overnight as well. All right, so here's another thing. They also make mention of the team compiling a roster with 8 draft-eligible prospects, which in turn leads to the issue of having too many mouths to feed. Quote, this is what they said in that ESPN article: there are not enough minutes available for veterans to balance lineups around the younger players, which have to receive minutes to get better. So Gianna, what's your take on that?
You know, I don't really think is there enough to feed everybody? It's really about the veterans that we have not been available to surround the young guys, to really give them that on-court leadership presence. They're in practice, they're in their ear off-court, but really on-court, most of the veterans that would make significant impact have been injured. And so some of them are coming back. Even young prospects were injured. So really that was the story there. And we're going to see a shift after All-Star break, which happens every season for Ignite. That's coming up in February. So you would think that these players are going to round the corner coming up soon.
All right. Now let's dive in to the eye of the storm.
We're taking you to the Winter Showcase. Check out this behind-the-scenes look from inside the Pro Lab.
The young guys that's coming up now are really a different breed for real. I ain't gonna lie, they doing different. They really built in the lab for sure. Them guys really getting at it. Like they in there working. They winning some games now. You can tell it's falling in. Scoring. They showing that they some real NBA players for real.
They look like they're coming along, and you know, it's a showcase. This is a good chance for them to go out here and leave a mark. You know, show these scouts, show these teams what they got and what they have to offer. To come out here, leave a lot of things out here, grow, get back home, and just develop, to keep working.
Something you want to prove to the teams going past the showcase? Good luck. Get what you want. I get it. I'm gonna go to the rim. Attack the basket. They got 24 points in the paint. We got 10. All right, let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's get it done. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Come on, let's go. Good energy. Let's go. Come on. Hey, head up, head up. Hey, Cherry. Take Cherry.
Look, we got 2 minutes. Yeah. They here for us, though. Hey, let me play the right way. Hey, let's keep going hard. Let's fight. Keep playing.
You take the rest.
You too.
Great highlights there. So Gianna, you were there at Showcase. Tell us, what was the experience like for you?
I mean, Winter Showcase is always one of my favorite things. Fans aren't able to go, but I was able to take them behind the scenes. I run the content sets. I was able to work for NBA TV a couple times out there. But Winter Showcase is just like the biggest event for all of the G League. Everybody, the who's who's, the stars, the former past, everyone's there. So just really great vibes. And then, you know, this Ignite team got to see the talent that's in the G.
Right.
Everybody was there, so they saw who they were going to face later in the season. I mean, I think it was an eye-opener for them, but great learning experience.
There you go, a great experience. I was definitely jealous I wasn't there. All right, so stick around. We got more Ignite Takeover for you. That's coming up after a short break.
Take a look at these unis. The Ignite with a nod to the Stanley Cup champion Golden Knights Sunday versus the Austin Spurs. The Ignite wore these special Golden Knights themed uniforms. A solid look for the team. The special game worn jerseys were signed by Ignite players and then they were autographed and auctioned off. And guess what? Logan Thompson was also there.
Oh, see, I love that. Those are fire. I like that. That's what the young kids say, fire. Yeah. All right, it's time for Storm Watch. Well, here's a look at the Ignite's next 3 games. We start with January 9th versus the Austin Spurs. Then we're going to January 10th versus the Iowa Wolves, and then the 15th against the Stockton Kings. Now, all those games are going down at the Dollar Loan Center right here in Henderson. So over the next 3 stints there, what can we expect from this Ignite team and who they're facing?
Coach has told me his coach's keys and that he's looking at limiting turnovers, energy, and defensive execution. So look for those 3 things as they face off over these next few games.
All right, and the Ignite's next game on Fox 5 and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network is on Monday, January 15th versus Stockton. You can watch that game on Fox 5 or the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network on channel 5.2 over the air or Cox Cable channel 125. Stockton Kings, is that a tough squad for them?
Yeah, I mean, they faced them before. They had some challenges, but it was a competitive one, and that's when they started rolling and getting some of those wins. So hopefully that will happen again for Ignite, and hopefully they get some wins before that.
We want the winning train. We want that coming back. We were loving how they were gelling right before the Winter Showcase, but we got so much more action from the G League and this Ignite squad. Gianna, always great being with you. That's it from G League Ignite Takeover.